guys, welcome back to my channel. Today has been a very exciting morning and exciting day. We just got our first ever teaser trailer for season 3 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now, did I lose my mind and did I actually like freak out? Yes. But I thought we could break it down and talk about some scenes that are from the books, maybe some added scenes in the trailer, and just like obsess over the trailer together. So starting off, one thing that really stood out to me is that the teaser is 2 minutes long, which is insane because normally an official trailer would be 2 minutes long, but we got a lot of footage and a lot of new looks for the Titan's Curse in this teaser trailer. So let's break it down. The first shot that we opened the teaser trailer with is a shot of Percy in the junkyard, and it's like very yellow kind of setting. It's like very dusty and desert-like. I was very shocked by this because in my predictions video, I talked about how they weren't going to show anything of the junkyard because it's just such a pivotal moment that happens in that specific place, and it's just like, it's just big, and I thought that they want to gatekeep it for people who haven't read the books, but also for people who have read the books. So the fact that they showed quite a lot of scenes from the junkyard in this trailer really shocked me. But yeah, we see Percy in the junkyard of the gods, and then it cuts to a scene of the Oracle at camp. And as we know in book 3, the Oracle finally leaves the attic after many years of being there. And then we can see in this teaser that, you know, she's in camp in like the forest kind of setting, and there's like mist coming out of her mouth, meaning that she is showing a prophecy, probably to Zoe. And this is when she tells Zoe about, you know, the prophecy and like the quest prophecy to go and get Artemis, and the fact that, you know, Artemis has been taken and all of that. Then we also get to see a first look at the Olympian Council. Again, in my teaser trailer predictions video, I again thought that they would gatekeep this, but they did show Zeus, Poseidon, and Hera. We got to see Ming-Na Wen as Hera for the first time, and she looks gorgeous. She looks so pretty, and she literally looks like the Queen of Olympus. Like, she's giving off the Hera vibes, and she's just like the costuming that they've done for Hera. Chef's kiss. So good. But one thing I noticed, and like for this you really have to like zoom in to the picture or like the trailer, is that there's like small detailing for each Olympian. Like for the ones we see, we know that, you know, Zeus, god of lightning, god of thunder, god of the skies, he has like thunder kind of marks or something on his throne, and then Poseidon has like hippocampi or like seahorses on his like armrest, and then Hera has like peacock feathers like on the headrest of her throne, which I thought is such good attention to detail, and you know how it relates to the gods and like what they represent. Then moving on, we get to see our first look at Atlas holding the sky, which I was expecting that. And as always, they didn't show how Atlas looks like from the front while he's holding up the sky. However, I will come back to this further on in the video. But it looks absolutely insane. Like, this is exactly how I imagined the Titan's Curse when I was reading it. And they have executed the vision so well, and it looks so book accurate. I'm generally so excited, but again, also very terrified. But Atlas's chamber looks really dark, really eerie, very dangerous, and that's exactly the vibe that it is in the book, so I'm very happy with this. Then, moving on, we have our first look at our girl, Zoe Nightshade. I am so excited to see Sarah as Zoe Nightshade in season 3. I just know that she did the best performance for Zoe ever. The fact that Dan and Craig, the executive producers, were praising her casting and praising her performance this season, I'm very excited to see how she brought Zoe to life and how she portrayed Zoe in her own way. Already from the short kind of like scenes that we see of her in this teaser trailer, she's doing a fantastic job. So I'm very excited to see her as Zoe Nightshade. Then, moving on, we have a scene of Percy running in Westover Hall. Very likely he's running away from Dr. Thorne the Manticore, and then after that, it pans to a scene of Annabeth, and she's still in her Westover Hall dress, and she has her dagger, and she's ready to fight, and it's just like, Percabeth is fighting together, guys. I'm eating that up. They're just perfect. They are the power couple. But moving on, then we have the dialogue of love has the power to start wars and it has the power to end them. And I kind of have like two kind of predictions for like who's saying this. I thought it was Hera, but then I'm also kind of thinking like if Hera were to say this, when would she say something like this, you know? So I'm leaning more towards Aphrodite, and I feel like Aphrodite says this to Percy while he is in the limo. So that's just like Aphrodite clocking Percy for liking Annabeth. And so I'm very excited to see more of Aphrodite. Speaking of that, we also get to see Aphrodite in this teaser trailer. We get to see Kate McKinnon as Aphrodite for the first time, which I wasn't expecting. Again, these are just very big characters and very big scenes that I thought they would gatekeep until the official trailer. So we got to see our first look at Kate McKinnon, and I'm not gonna lie, when the casting for Aphrodite was announced and it was Kate McKinnon, I was a bit iffy. I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit iffy, because if you know, like, Kate McKinnon's, like, past roles, she's done SNL, she was the weird Barbie in the Barbie movie, and so I personally couldn't really envision her as Aphrodite in season 3, because, you know, if you look at the fan art and the Greek goddess Aphrodite, she's really described as like a very beautiful human being. Like, she has like long blonde hair, she's wearing like this white toga or like this white dress, and then she has like flowers in her hair. And so I was really curious if they were going to keep that same kind of characteristic or like the character design for Aphrodite in the show, but they did change it in the show, and honestly I don't mind. I think it fits Kate McKinnon's like kind of vibe really well. In the show, in the still, we can see that Aphrodite is wearing a red blazer, and you know, she's wearing like a lot of jewelry, and so she still has that kind of like beautiness. I see the vision now, but I'm very excited to see more of Aphrodite this season and the scene between Percy and Aphrodite for season 3. Then moving on, we have the first look at the Nemean lion. Now, I literally have no words. I don't know what post-production did. The Nemean lion looks so good. If you were to search up the Nemean lion, like on Google, and see like the mythology picture of that, spot on. Literally spot on. The Nemean lion looks terrifying. Genuinely, it looks so terrifying. And so for all the monsters that we see in this teaser trailer, they are like 10 times scarier than what we saw in season 1 and season 2. Like, looking at these monsters, Polyphemus, the Chimera, everything else, they're like a joke. Like, these are terrifying. But we also get to see the scene of them at the Smithsonian fighting these skeletons, and then we also get to see our first look at Holt McCallany as Atlas. Now, we didn't get to see Atlas's, like, how he looks like while he's holding up the sky, but we do know that Atlas is at the Smithsonian in the book, so we got to see that, and we also got to see them filming this specific scene back in October when they were filming for season 3, and so now to see that scene in, like, full HD edited version, it feels so full circle, and it looks so good. Then moving on, we also have a first look at Nico and Percy at camp. Yeah, I have no words. Because if I remember correctly, I don't think Percy and Nico really have time to bond at camp. Because they leave for the quest like one day after they arrive at camp, I think. And so the fact that they added the scene of Percy and Nico bonding at camp, probably Percy showing Nico around at camp, because he reminds him so much of, you know, when Percy first came to camp. Knowing what's coming at the ending of the season, I'm actually sick to my stomach. Literally, that's gonna hurt so much, guys. It's literally gonna hurt so much. I'm not ready. But we get to see that. Then we also get to see or hear another dialogue, which is, if we can survive a war with the Titans, it will be because of love. And then it cuts to a scene of Percy and Annabeth. I see what you did there, Percy series. I see what you did there. If you like think about book 4 and 5, their love truly does kind of win the war as well. So I love that they're hinting towards that already as early on as in season 3. Then we have our first look at the Manticore and Annabeth fighting it, and it looks insane. Like, Annabeth is like jumping on the Manticore, and then she's like holding on to the tail, and like she's putting her dagger in the back of the Manticore, which is like exactly how the sequence happens in the book. So again, that's very book accurate. But the scene after this that they showed, literally, I crashed out about this for about 15 minutes. No joke. It's the scene of Percy witnessing Annabeth falling off the cliff. And I honestly couldn't think that the scene in season 2, episode 6, when Annabeth injured by Polyphemus, how Percy screams, could get worse. Somehow Walker made it even worse, because now when you hear Percy screaming Annabeth, you can really hear the desperation, the kind of like shock, and just like how hurt he is. It's just a really gut-wrenching scream, and it's gonna kill me. It's gonna absolutely destroy me. Then moving on, we have our first look at, I think, the angels at Hoover Dam. So I think it's the angels that take Percy, Grover, and Thalia and Zoe away from Hoover Dam. I could be wrong, but it looks like the angels because they're like flying across the Hoover Dam. We also see a scene after that of like a food fight happening, which I'm very excited about because literally the entire book or the entire season is going to be depression. The Hoover Dam episode is going to be the only episode with relief, with fun, with jokes. So I'm very much looking forward to that fight scene, like the food fight in the snack bar, the damn snack bar. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Then we also see a scene in which Percy's underwater and we get to see Bessie. And Bessie looks adorable. When I saw Bessie, I was like, oh, she's so cute. You're telling me that that's the creature that's going to destroy Olympus? Nah. I really hope that for like season 3, if they release new merch, they make a plushie of Bessie, because I will be getting it. She's adorable. She or he, adorable. Absolutely adorable. But after that, we see a scene, or like before that, we see a scene of Percy picking up Annabeth's dagger. Now, I haven't read Mark of Athena, but a lot of my mutuals have, and they talked about how, you know, it's a callback or like reference to a scene in Mark of Athena where apparently Percy picks up Annabeth's dagger. Is this my sign to continue reading and get to Mark of Athena? I think it is, but that's a very good detail that they also added. Then moving on, we also see a scene between Thalia and Ares, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we get to see Thalia and Ares interact in the book. And if they do interact, that's definitely the only scene that Ares appears in, which is the Aphrodite scene and the limo scene. So I feel like it's either that scene or maybe it's an added scene, but just Thalia's face while she's facing Ares, baddie. Yeah, that's all I have to say, baddie. Then we have a scene with Nico and Bianca, and they're hugging. Now, if you look at the scene and like kind of the setting of where it's set, I do think that this is probably after the events of the Smithsonian sequence, because we know like when they were filming that Nico follows them to the Smithsonian, and that's a change from the books. So the fact that this is at the Smithsonian, and this is probably the last time that Nico's going to see Bianca, makes me actually sick to my stomach. Like, I feel like throwing up just thinking about that. So episode 4 is actually going to destroy me, and they're just babies. Like, their backstory, they're just children. Leave them alone. Anyway, then, moving on, we have our first look at Dr. Thorne, and we have a first look at, like, how he looks, on like, how his face looks. He looks terrifying. I know that Craig, the executive producer, talked about how the Manticore is, like, really creepy. Yeah, I see what you mean now. The tail, the fur, the, like, white furry face. I'm terrified. I'm shaking in my boots while I was watching that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really scary. Then moving on, we have our first look at Luke holding up the sky. And let's just say Luke is going to be going through the horrors this season. Like, looking at this of Charlie as Luke holding up the sky, he's really going through it. Like, he is struggling. And the fact that we have to see Annabeth struggle for even longer than Luke, no, I don't want to see that. But if you look like very closely to this like specific sequence or like this scene, you can see that there's like gold kind of shimmer in Luke's eyes, and that's great foreshadowing for book 4. Spoilers for book 4, so like scroll or like fast forward a few minutes. But in book 4, we know that, you know, Kronos uses Luke's body as a vessel, and he takes over his body, and while that's happening, his eyes get golden, and Luke's body also kind of gets a bit golden. So, great foreshadowing, but that's going to be very devastating and very sad. Then, moving on, we have a sneak peek at the Thalia and Percy fight. So, there's been like a bit of speculation now that they might have cut this scene, because if you look at the still for this scene, you can see that, you know, they're not at the kind of like lake or like kind of the rocky kind of setting where Capture the Flag took place in season 1. They're actually in the middle of camp near the bonfire, and that's when Thalia, you know, like pushes Percy in the water. So I think that they probably cut the Capture the Flag scene, because I know like one of my mutuals also said that they didn't think it made sense for like all this stuff to happen at Westover Hall and then for them to just go back to camp and act like nothing happened and return to like normal camp activities, which I do kind of agree with. So I feel like maybe they cut the Capture the Flag scene, but still managed to keep the iconic fight between Percy and Thalia just in a different setting. Maybe that. But I really don't mind as long as we have that iconic fight between Percy and Thalia and actually seeing them use their powers. I don't really mind if they cut that scene, honestly. I don't mind. Then we have another scene, which is we have an even better look at Talos and like the face and how it looks like. Talos is gigantic. Like, I didn't expect him to be like this big while I was reading The Titan's Curse. So he looks really scary, and I just have one thing to say. Bianca, don't make any unnecessary journeys, please. Yeah. That's all I have to say. But then we end off the teaser with a scene of Percy facing Talos, and he uncaps Riptide, and while that scene is happening, we have a voiceover from Annabeth in which she says, if he had to choose between me, or between saving Olympus and saving me, he'd burn it all down. Great callback to season 2, but again, shows Percy's fatal flaw, loyalty. He's going to do anything to save the people he loves, one of them being Annabeth. And I think she's probably talking to Luke when she says this, because I feel like maybe it's like when she's holding up the sky, and Luke's like, no one's going to come to get you, and then Annabeth is like, oh no, Percy's coming to get me. If it's me or Olympus, he's going to burn Olympus down and come and get me. Like, she's confident that he's coming to get her. So I'm very excited to see if I'm right and to see if that's actually her talking to Luke. But yeah, that pretty much does it for like all the standout moments in the teaser trailer. This teaser trailer is absolutely insane. We can just see a big step up in the fights, CGI. I do think that they had a budget increase this season, which is very visible in this teaser trailer. New characters, and just like, it's so book accurate. It is so book accurate. I couldn't be happier with this teaser trailer. But yeah, that does it for my teaser trailer breakdown. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys noticed in this teaser. I'm very excited, but again, terrified for the official trailer. We still have the cast D23 panel with Walker, Aryan, Charlie, Tamara, Daphne, Sarah, Levi, and Olive today. So maybe we'll get some more stuff from that. Hopefully season 4 renewal. Still praying for that. But yeah, that does it for today's video. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye guys!